Today's episode of Ham Radio 2.0 is brought to you by Gifts for Hams. Find their website at www.gifts4hams.com. Get your call sign or club logo engraved on virtually anything you want. Specializing in ham radio related gift ideas, Gifts for Hams is your one-stop shop for lighted call sign displays, coffee mugs, coasters, drinking glasses, smartphone cases, and so much more. Laser engraving and etching to show off your ham radio call sign or club. Shop gifts4hams.com and tell them that Ham Radio 2.0 sent you.
Hello YouTube, this is Rich, KG5RBG from Conroe, Texas. You're watching the Ham Radio 2.0 video podcast series available on livefromthehamshack.tv and YouTube. 73s, and see you on DMR.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Ham Radio 2.0, live from the Ham Shack. My name's Jason. I'm KC5HWB. Was that too fast? Boy, guys, it's good to be back in the shack. I tell you what, back in the shack. Nickety-knack, patty-whack, whatever. I was out between Dayton, which was 2 months ago now, and HamCom, which was last month in June, and Field Day, which was the end of June, and my personal vacation. I had a bunch of videos queued up, and I just started putting videos up, and I haven't actually been behind the mic in front of the camera in the shack for probably about a month, roughly, probably about a month. The Field Day video was all done in the field, and then the 2 or 3 videos I did after Field Day were all pre-recorded and put up later. So I'm glad I got all those videos out. A couple of them have been sitting in the queue for a little bit. I got some cool new hats for the show with the mesh backing and the snapback right there. The girl that makes the hats for me, my hats and my T-shirts are made by a local company here in Fort Worth, Texas. She's actually in Haltom City. And according to her, this style of hat with the mesh backing and the snapback is her most popular baseball cap right now. One size fits all. Really good stitching on it. So, I've got about 60 of these. I took them to HamCom. Sold few of them at HamCom. So, hit me up if you're interested in a cap. But anyway, that's not why you're here. You are here to talk about that radio. This is the Anytone Dual Band AT-868UV, UV for UHF, VHF, DMR handheld. And so far, I've only had like a day to play with this. They arrived yesterday via DHL. And I've not even shot a code plug into it yet. But it's got a VFO on it where you can turn the knob here and change the frequency on the screen via VFO. It's got some buttons on it here. Yeah, there it is, VFO. Boom, boom, boom. And it's pretty cool the way it looks, the way it feels. The way it operates. It's got a nice big screen on it. And the screen is actually probably about the same size as the TYT screen. The TYT MD2017 is a larger radio. But as far as the screen, the casing is larger. The screen itself is the same between the two radios. So here's a good comparison of the two radios. This is, of course, the 2017 on the my right, your left. This is the 868UV on my left, your right. So I just want to do that as a size comparison to see. This is actually a bit smaller of a radio, a little bit more compact, easier to carry around, not as bulky. It's got a good weight to it. It feels like it's just about the same weight as the 2017. In fact, it may even be a touch heavier than the 2017. So it's got a really good weight to it. It's got a good screen. It's got a cool dual display. and it's got a VFO knob that you can change VFO frequencies, and on the display it'll come up and it'll say, oh, you're in analog channel, you're in DMR channel, or digital. It'll say digital channel. A couple of the things I've not been able to figure out yet, just kind of tinkering with it more than anything. I haven't been able to figure out. It's got a front panel programmable feature. You can go in there and add a channel, but when you go in there and add all the stuff to the channel, it doesn't ever ask you what time slot you want to be on. So that's kind of weird. It asks you for receive frequency, transmit frequency, and color code. It never asks you for a time slot. So this is not supposed to be a single time slot radio. It's supposed to be a dual time slot radio. So we're going to find out if that's true. But the it's got GPS in it also. I enabled GPS. I didn't order a GPS model. I just ordered samples of it. This one has GPS in it because I enabled the GPS. I can go into the menu right now, and I'm going to show you all this screen here in just a minute. GPS info select. It says no fixed position. But if I go in there and tell it to turn on, it says it's turning on. There's a GPS option in the menu. So I might need to read up in the manual and see exactly how to work the GPS, how to enable it, how to get it set up correctly and all that. Got the software, the CPS over here on the laptop. Going to show you here in just a minute. But this little radio is really cool. I mean, I like the look of it. I've got to look up and see. I've seen the paperwork that came with it doesn't say anything about the number of contacts or the number of channels that the radio will hold. So I've reached back out to Anytone to inquire about that information. And before the end of this video, I'm recording this video over the course of a couple days. Before the end of this video, I should be able to tell you how many contacts and channels it holds. I lost my train of thought there. So I had a case of bronchitis about a month ago. Still getting over that. It's pretty much gone. I was on antibiotics and then I've been off of antibiotics for like 2 weeks, and the congestion still kind of comes and goes. It's not nearly as bad as it was. But anyway, this is a neat radio. There's a little GPS symbol up there at the top. Actually, I'll zoom in on the screen here in a minute and let you guys look at the screen. But been looking forward to this radio for quite some time. A lot of the guys who have been unsatisfied, I'll put it that way, with the 2017 have started asking me about the Anytone model. Anytone radios are pretty good quality 90% of the time. 90% of the time they're really good quality. They've got a really great, their AT-868 monoband radio, which I had a couple of the 220 versions. They make them in 2 meters, 220, and 440. I never cared about the 2 meter or 440 monoband. But the 220 monoband was a cool rig. The AT-868UV, which was the dual band, was a neat radio. I played with one of those for a while, and I think I bought it, played with it, and sold it a long time ago. But the AT-5888-3, which is, of course, the tri-band, which incorporates 2 meters, 220, and 440, has been a great radio. I run that radio in my truck today. That's my tri-band radio that I have in the truck. It's really solid. It's not as... Sometimes it'll get a little bit quiet on 440, but on 2 meters and 220 it works great. But I've always been really happy with the Anytone. Anytone has a tri-band HT. Been pretty happy with that. And their DMR HT. I'm really looking forward to seeing how well this one does. So let's take a look at the programming CPS. We'll shoot a code plug. Just a 2 or 3 channel code plug into the radio, set it up with my subscriber ID, try to figure out the GPS part of it, and see what kind of features the CPS has. And then we'll do a short QSO with somebody. And there's not any nets between now and the time I want to air this video, so probably won't do a net. But I might do a QSO and see how that goes, and let you guys take a look at this radio. So once again, this is the Anytone AT-868UV Dual Band DMR HT, and they're working on a mobile version that should be out later this year. Hopefully October-ish, I'm hoping. They're telling me August, so kick it back a month or two, because this was supposed to actually be out by now already. And, you know, the radio business is a hurry-up-and-wait game for everybody. That's how everybody is. So I'm really looking forward to their mobile unit. The last video I just put up was a review of the TYT dual band mobile unit, and the Anytone mobile unit will be a dual band. So I just put up my episode 107 was on the TYT DMR dual band.
K5IMO, KHCL on statewide.
Oh, that's I've got too many radios on. That was the MD9600 that's sitting right here underneath the camera. You can't see. Ha. So, anyway, Anytone's got the dual band HT. Later this year, they'll have a dual band mobile, both DMR and analog. Looking forward to both of those. So let's take a look at the AT-868UV dual band HT from Anytone. If you found me on YouTube, go hit up my website, livefromthehamshack.tv. You can see all 107, 108 videos I've done to this date. And you can follow me and see where I'm going from here. 73, guys. Thanks for watching. I spent some time going through this thing and going through this software because it's a little bit different than what you're used to seeing unless you've... there's been a couple other radios. The KYD software is similar to this, but not nearly put together as well as this is. That software was very clunky. This software for the Anytone seems to work pretty well. Now, what I can't figure out is well, that's not true. That's not true. Let me back up. The terminology in this software is strange. When I went in here the first time, I thought DMR ID, it'll hold 250 different DMR IDs. I thought this was your channels, or like your private call IDs. What this actually is you can change DMR IDs in this radio so 2 or 3 different people can use the radio, and when they key up, it'll key up as their DMR ID. At least I think that's what this is. I need to confirm a couple of things with Anytone. I might try to talk to them sometime between now and the time I record the last part of this video. But anyway, this is my DMR ID here, because when I go to set up channels like this, it asks me which DMR ID I want to use right here. And I have it set as KC5HWB, of course. But if I wanted to change that, if I wanted to hand the radio to my wife, she's got her own call sign and her own DMR ID, and you could change like that. I think that's how that works. Digital contact is your group and private calls. And what's cool is you can do imports and exports of digital contacts and all this other junk too, I guess. I haven't used it for anything yet except for this. And I have these contacts here. And then you can import this. So all this stuff came... What I did was I exported my contact list from my Texas Digital Radio TDR 6100, which is the same contact list I use in the Connect System CS800. And I imported all these 1,658 contacts, which includes all of my group calls, which of course are my talk groups, just like that. And then I included all of the private calls for the state of Texas. Now, the reason I didn't do any more than that is because at the time of this video, this radio will only hold 10,000 contacts. And at the time of this video, I have about 29,600 some odd contacts in my TDR 6100 for the entire nation, the United States. All the United States contacts. I just updated it yesterday. So there's about 29,600 something contacts in the United States. I don't do the worldwide contacts because I think we've broken the 65,000 mark, and that radio doesn't hold that many contacts yet. I think they're working on that. But here's the cool thing about the Anytone radio. This sample radio, I was talking with Anytone the other day after receiving the sample radios, and I was telling him what I thought about it so far. And I found a couple of very small minor bugs in it. I'm going to report back to him. He said that the production run of radios will hold 160,000 contacts. This sample radio I've got tops out at 10,000 right here. But he says the production run of this radio with stock firmware will hold 160,000 contacts. That's like 2.5 times the current size of the DMR Mark database. So I asked him if my sample radios could be upgraded with firmware, and he said no. He said you can. He goes, if you want to, you can mail them back to us in China, and we'll upgrade them for you for free, and then I have to pay for shipping back home as well. And I'll probably do that. You know, switch back to the camera real quick, but it's probably worth it. I've got two of these sample radios, so it's probably worth it to send 2 of them back and get them free upgrades. I don't know, but the one of the quirky bugs that I found is that you can go. I'm gonna show you guys what the screen looks like. We're gonna go through the menus here in a minute. But if I go into channel, if I want to set up a channel, you've got all your stuff right here. Okay, color code, time slot, doom. These are your power levels. It's got 4 power levels: low, medium, high, and super. I haven't tested the power levels yet. We'll probably do that in this video. That's wrong. Okay. Your admit criteria, narrow or wideband. Of course, you're always going to do narrowband for DMR. Color code. Why can't I say that? Time slot 1 and 2. DMR ID. Contact, which of course is your talk group number, talk group name, I should say. Here. Color code 1, slot 2. This is my open spot settings here. So, okay. And you can do all of this from the face of the radio. So you don't have to use the computer, although it's going to be a whole lot easier to use the computer. You can do all of this from the face of the radio. But I cannot figure out how to set the time slot from the face of the radio. I can't figure out how to do that. There's no option in the menu on the radio. You can go through and you can set your color code, transmit and receive frequency, set narrowband or wideband. You can pick out, it'll let you pick which DMR ID you want to use. And I had some talk groups in there because I thought DMR ID was different, but I think that's like I said, I think it's a multiple user-based radio. Haven't seen that before. That's really cool. So it'll let you pick the DMR ID, and then it has you pick the what they call the digital contact. It calls it a digital contact, which it has group contacts, which are your talk groups, and private contacts, which is what you and I have. So you can set up a channel to do a private contact between one person to the other. But it doesn't have anywhere to set your time slot in the menu on the screen of the radio. So I think that's probably something that's just missing, and they'll have to add later, I think. So going back, but the plug, here's the plug. Plug is a standard 2-prong Kenwood plug, just like the TYT MD380, just like the Anytone Tri-Band 2-meter 22440 HT. So it doesn't have a funky plug on it, and it doesn't look like the programming cable is anything special. It doesn't have like it's got this big head on it, and I guess maybe, and it does give you the USB bong when you first plug it in. So there might be like a prolific proprietary chip in the cable, the way there is for the MD380 and the MD2017. I haven't tried it with another cable yet. I don't know. So, but the programming on it seems to be pretty straightforward. You look at the screen here. It's got all your settings for, you got 5-tone, 2-tone. No, kill that. 2-tone. Got a DTMF. here, so it'll do all your standard analog stuff that most of the Anytone HTs will do. It'll hold, how many channels does it have right now? 4,000 channels. I'm not sure if they're going to upgrade that. That's a whole lot more channels. You know, the Kinect Systems only holds 2,000 channels, but most everyone else only holds 1,000 channels. So I haven't messed with the zones yet, but I can create zones and all of these. Hold on, let's create a zone, and let's just say. So you can do zones and kind of change them up that way. I haven't messed with scanning yet. This is kind of a worthless menu right here. This optional menus, took me a little bit to figure out all this stuff, but there's the P1 and P2 on the front of the radio are labeled on the front of the radio, P1 and P2. So this one changes your main channel between the top band and the bottom band, and then this one here changes you back and forth between VFO and memory mode. And like I said, the oh, that's why I did that. Okay, it'll go. It'll go into digital VFO mode. So you can go into digital VFO and just turn your knob on the top and change the frequency to whatever you want, and then go into the menu settings and set your color code and your talk group and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, at this point in time, it's not allowing me to set the time slot. So it's kind of not worth it. It's not all put together yet. Now, again, I think that this is a sample run. These are sample radios, and I've already been told that the production run will definitely have some updates in it, like the contacts, you know, because there's 10,000 contacts in this radio, and there are, no, when you plug the cable into the radio to program it, it keys up the, or at least it looks like it's keying up the radio, because the display shows to be like you're pressing the push to talk button. So that's kind of weird. That's another bug I got to report to Anytone. But I think that you know, but as soon as you click on, you know, the screen changes like this. As soon as you click on write or read, it'll go into, it'll say PC write right here, and it'll say PC read if I'm reading from the radio. So it works. It recognizes the radio. You have to set your COM port from a menu at the top. You go into, I think it's program, and you can set your COM port from a menu in there. And then, but for some reason, when you plug the cable into the side of the radio, it acts like the screen acts like it's like you're holding down the push to talk, and it says, "This is the talk group you're currently talking on." So that's one bug I got to report to them. It's taken a long time to write because I've got so many contacts that it's writing into the radio each time. I've just got those 2 channels in it right now, but it's writing, what was that, like 6,000 contacts, something like that? Not that many. 2,400, 2,500 contacts, which is everybody in Texas. Curious now. I know it's over 1,000. Nope, not that many. We broke 1,000 a long time ago. We're not over 2,000 yet. I thought we were. Yeah, 1,500, 1,600. Yeah, about 1,658 contacts right now. Of course, there's probably been, since I got this list yesterday, there's probably been a lot more subscriber IDs pull-ups. Now, see, that's, let's see. That's strange. Oh, I know why it did that. Yeah. No. Okay. No. Let's go main channel switched. Okay. So, yeah. When I plug the radio in, it looks like it's keying up. I don't know if it is or not. I haven't tried, but the date on the screen is correct. GPS, it's got GPS in it. I think I said that earlier. So the GPS is active. And GPS info, no fixed position. I don't know what that means exactly. I might need to go in here and see if the manual says anything about GPS. It may or may not. So let's take a look at this. But so by default, the software will allow you to import contacts. So what I did was I added 2 or 3 contacts manually to the software, and then I exported it to a CSV file by a click right here. Export. I wanted to export my digital contact, and I exported it, and I just named this CSV file. So it only had like 2 or 3 lines in it. But then I was able to get the format of what the software was wanting, the format that the software was running. I'm like, okay, so I know what order to put everything in. So then I went and I just copy-pasted from my CSV file that I have for my TDR 6100, copy-pasted everything for Texas over in the correct format for the Anytone, and then I imported it back with this feature here. So you get, this is the export here. So I can come in here and say Tool, Import. I can pick this file here. Oops. Pick this file here, and it puts it right there, and it'll let you do another one if I want to do another one right here. And it doesn't really do anything until you click this import button. There you go, import complete. Now it just overwrote itself just then because I didn't add anything. But then you've got 650 contacts, and I just did that by importing. Save as. Yeah, this is good. And that's that. So let's take a look at the screen of the radio. Now the icon, the GPS icon was grayed out on the screen, and now it's active. I'll go into here to GPS info. Yeah, it's showing me the date, the time. The time's wrong. I probably got the time zone set wrong in the menu. It's showing me my latitude and longitude. I don't know what that means, but I'll see if I can find that. Anyway, the GPS is working. That's the important thing. Important thing is the GPS is working. So let's take a look at the screen. I'm going to zoom the camera in and show you guys the screen real quick. Now, again, the radio has 4 power settings. So I'm on the bottom band, and I'm on analog VFO 146.52. I'm going to go in here to settings. Radio set, no, channel set. Go in here to transmit power, and I'm on low, so it's got power low selected. I think I've got, okay, I do. I got a hotkey. This top button here, this orange button, top power. So I can change power going that way. So if I key up on 146.52, and again, we're going into a dummy load right now. I'm not actually transmitting. I'm about half a watt on low power. Now I go to mid power here. 2.5 watts, 2.25 watts. A little bit over 2 watts on mid power. And go to high power. 5 watts on 2 meters. That's good. This is analog because I don't have a TDMA meter. 6.5 watts on top, what they call top power. It's called super in the software. Low, mid, high, and super. In here it's called top. So you got low power, middle power, high power, top power. 6.5 watts on 2 meters. So now I'm going to go here. I'm just going to type in 446 100. We'll just put it on that one. 446 100. Okay, now I'm going to go low power. Just under a watt. 0.8 of a watt. Middle power, about 2.5 watts. It's about what it was on 2 meters as well. High power. Oh, that's disappointing. Just under 4 watts. Supposed to do 7 on high on VHF and 5 on UHF. So that's high power there. 3.8 watts. We'll go to top power. 4.25 watts. So not quite 5 watts. But you know what? Most of your UHF DMR HTs are about 4 watts output. So it does say on the back of the radio, once again, that it does 7 watts on VHF, and it says 6 watts on UHF. So it's not doing that. Oh yeah, here's what it is. I changed the startup screen. There's not enough characters to put a 2 after ham radio. Haha. But on top power, no, that was, yeah, top power selected. It's not even quite 4.5 watts. Now, again, that can also fluctuate. If you look at the battery indicator on the screen here, right there, the battery's about 50%, maybe 60%. I let my battery die last night, and when I went to start the video today, the radio was dead, so I put it on the charger for about 30 minutes or so, so it is not a full charge right now. So that can cause differences in the power output when it's running on battery also. KC5 HWB testing 1, 2. Dummy load, I don't really need to do that, but I did it just for the sake of it. So anyway, so it's doing really good on 2 meters, and it's doing, you know, it's doing what all the other UHF DMR HTs are doing, about 4 watts. That's about what the MD380, 390 is. That's about what I measured on the 2017. So I bet if you charge this battery up 100%, I bet it would probably push it about a watt more than that, probably. So that's the Anytone. Oh, by the way, it's got a SMA female antenna with a male connector on the body. So your standard dual band SMA female antenna, like your Nagoya NA771, that's this much taller, will fit on this radio. And since this is a dual band radio, it would be perfect for it. So that's the Anytone. Boy, I'm excited. I am excited. I think this is going to be a neat little radio. I like it so far. It's easy to... It's different in programming. If you're used to the MD380s, if you're used to the TYT products, the MD380 and 390 software is all the same. The 2017 software is a little bit different, but the layout is the same. The Connect System CS7 or CS700 software and the Puxing PX820 software and the Zastone DP880 software all look the same as the TYT software because it's the same manufacturer over in China making that software for different models of radio. So it's different than that, but I mean, I spent 15 or 20 minutes fiddling with it before I started recording today, and I pretty much learned everything there was to learn about it. Some of the terminology is a little bit different, like that DMR ID. I thought it was talking about, 'cause since it was holding 250 of them, I didn't for a second think that you could switch DMR IDs, but you can. You can go in here and you can say, I can put in a second DMR ID, and when I'm going into the channel, I can tell it which DMR ID I want, and I can do it in the computer as well. So that's pretty neat. Got a radio with multiple DMR IDs, and they're working on a mobile radio that should be out later this year. So really looking forward to that. That ought to be really cool. I do not think that mobile radio, I asked him about that mobile radio having a removable face, and I think he said no. I'll double check on that. That's the main gripe about the TYT MD9600 that I'm hearing from people right now, is that it doesn't have a removable face. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I've made the suggestion to TYT that they might want to think about doing a new version that has a removable face, or create a kit that you can buy after the fact to take that face off the body and move it around. I don't know. But I don't think the Anytone is going to have a removable face either. But It ought to be a sweet rig. This is cool. I like this one. I like this radio a lot. So thanks for watching, guys. If you found me on YouTube, go to my website, livefromthehamshack.tv. You will be able to see all the episodes I've done so far. Really enjoying doing the reviews of these dual band DMR radios that we've been waiting on for a long, long time. And next up is I'm going to do another video on the MD 2017, how to update some firmware, how to do this, how to do that, what kind of changes they've made, etc., etc., etc. So 73, thanks for watching. Go hit up my website, and hope to hear you out there on DMR.
This has been Ham Radio 2.0, a YouTube production by KC5HWB. Visit our website at www.livefromthehamshack.tv. Please also stop by our Facebook page at fb.me/hamradio2. Be sure and subscribe here on YouTube to keep up with all the new videos that are posted nearly every Monday. 73s everyone, and thanks for watching.